What about the children? This is a concern for all of us Canadians regarding public safety and the legalization of cannabis. What about the children?
While I was there with the doctor, he looked at me and he said, "You're a desperate mother you're grasping at straws." And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "What are you gonna do if I don't give you this prescription?" I said, "I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do it anyways, so you can't deny me the chance to save my child."
Join the movement as we sit down with Mandy and Cheyenne. Mandy tells us her story of how she took on the medical establishment and fought to save her 18-month-old daughter Cheyenne's life.
They sent her home and told me to make memories. She has beat every odd the medical system has put against her.
Hi, we are here sitting with Mandy and Cheyenne. Cheyenne, who is the beautiful, lovely peacock voiceover. And we're here to hear your story of what brought you to the Cannabis Hemp Conference today, which is a wonderful event. We've got so many wonderful speakers here talking about cannabis and where we're at, where we've come from. And we were so inspired to hear about your story and wanted to sit down with you. And so it's a pleasure. Welcome. And just what brought you to this moment today? Like what brought you here to this conference?
Corey Yelland actually called me one morning and asked if I'd want to attend. Mm-hmm. Of course I'd want to attend because we need to get it out there, because a lot of they're not letting, it's hard to get children to get access to cannabis unless you do it how you're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. So it was actually really hard for us to get that first prescription, but once we got here and everything started going, now smooth sailing. But what initially brought us here is to help people, because that's what I do. Most of my days I'm home and I'm answering emails and I'm answering Facebook messages, trying to help parents, because they come to me, they're like, "What did you do?" So I tell them. And that's another reason I wanted to come too, is that a parent, a pediatric oncology parent, we don't have no choices. We have no choices, because if we don't do what the medical system wants us to do, they could just come and take our children. And so our hands are tied. But more people need to know that there's a better way. We may not have a choice as parents over the medicine, but we do have a choice over how we're going to help them, say, fight the nasty effects of chemotherapy. Cannabis helps that. It didn't help her at the time, but because she wasn't on it while she was on chemotherapy.
And so give me some background to Cheyenne's story and then what led you to this point today.
18 months old, I thought her hip bone, I was like, "Your hip bone's out of place." Okay. And then I seen it getting bigger and I'm like, whoa. So I took her to I took her to the Emerge. And they automatically sent her for a ultrasound. And while I'm in the ultrasound, the man quickly puts down the device and he goes, "I'll be right back." And he ran out of the room. And I was just there waiting.
Well, that's a good thing for your heart.
Yeah, yeah. And then he's like, "Okay, I've called Sick Kids." He goes, "You need to go see your family physician right away." So we went and we seen the family physician. He's like, "Yeah, Cheyenne has a mass." And at that point, I'm thinking, a mass? What's a mass? I didn't even know. And then they sent us to oncology, and back then I didn't even know what the word oncology meant. Mm-hmm. And I'm there joking with the oncologist.
Mommy, why don't put a mask on me?
Your mommy said mass.
Yeah, mass, like a lump.
She was talking about the lump that they found when you were only 18 months old. Do you remember that far back?
The sugar monster.
I don't know that.
No?
I always call it the sugar monster because at home we don't talk about cancer. I keep all cancer books hidden. And she doesn't even know. It's
Really?
a sugar monster because it feeds off sugar,
Yes.
so I tell her it's the sugar monster. That's it. It's because I believe in power of positive thinking. As long
Absolutely.
as she doesn't know.
So no sugar.
Very,
You've
very little.
kept it limited.
Here because it's hard to get anything to eat. But yeah, at
Right.
home, very little.
Good for you.
Very important. Because I had the dietitian tell me a calorie is a calorie. I was really obese back then. And I looked at her and said, so you're telling me that all these cheeseburgers I ate aren't what's making me fat? And her jaw hit the floor. So yeah, we did the diet, and then I changed my diet, lost a lot of weight. She put on weight. And then after that, we got in contact with Corey, and she got us pointed in the direction to get cannabis oil.
And so how long ago was that? So diagnosis at 18 months.
Yeah, diagnosed actually October the 7th of 2013.
Okay.
We met Corey
So coming up
in
for
May
5 years.
of 14.
My back.
And so she's been on cannabis the entire time.
Feel it.
And at first, I couldn't get a prescription. I am feeling, honey. I couldn't get a prescription whatsoever from any doctor in Alberta. So I flew to Vancouver and went to MCRCI, got her very first prescription. But while I was there with the doctor, he looked at me and he said, "You're a desperate mother you're grasping at straws." And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "What are you going to do if I don't give you this prescription?" I said, "I'm going to go home and I'm going to do it anyways. So you can't deny me the chance to save my child." I was like, I have to know that no matter what happens to her, I've done the best that I've done because I'm the one that has to live the rest of my life. We've left no stone unturned.
How was it dealing with the doctors at the time? Did you apprise them of what you were doing, the alternatives that you were looking at?
They shut us down. They, like the oncologists, like the medical kind, they basically blacklisted us. They would put us in different rooms away from all the other patients. We weren't even allowed to be around other people. And every time we talked about it, like my ex-husband chased down one of the oncologists one day. He's like, "What about cannabis? What about cannabis?" No, won't work. Cannabis won't work. Wouldn't even look him in the eye. Cannabis worked.
Mama. Well, I was.
You were right there.
So diagnosis 5 years ago, almost coming up for the 5th year anniversary.
Yeah.
What's been happening from the, and then you said you changed the diet dramatically. Was there surgery, operation?
Yeah, she had 3 surgeries. 2 of them was to remove the mass. You can't remove it because it stems off her lower vertebrae. It wraps around her, and it's wrapped all around all her, like her aorta and everything else on the inside. The last surgery she went for, the surgeon opened her up, and when he came back, he came in the room, he threw his hands up, and he said, "I'm sorry, there's nothing to be done. I can't do it. If I make one wrong cut, we lost her."
Me?
Which is a blessing now, looking
Hold
back,
that for me.
is a blessing. Because one wrong cut, I would have lost her.
Right.
Me? I did.
You're a miracle.
I did.
No.
No.
Did somebody cut my body?
That's what all those scars are, baby.
Dad, jump on Monty.
How are you feeling today?
Good?
Do you feel happy?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I don't like you cutting my belly.
They will never cut your belly again. We are all done that.
What was your go-to? Was there there was a trial period to find what worked, or you said you met Corey?
Yeah.
So explain that whole process of like the starting process with cannabis and how you like. What did you find that worked? Like, was it just you started with something and that's what you stuck with, or was there changes throughout, the ongoing months?
It was all the same because back then, cannabis oil in kids wasn't really, I was in a really touchy place with doing so. So like once we got the medicine, I started out same as normal, your grain of white dry rice, and I'd stick it on a strawberry normally because that's what she eats. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And yeah, Yeah, and then we did that, and then once I seen that her high was coming down, I knew that I could give her another dose. And then we just kept building that tolerance and building it until we got to 1 gram a day. Little stinker can eat 1 gram a day. I can't. Yeah. But it was amazing.
I'm
Like,
not mistaken.
she couldn't climb stairs, she couldn't jump, she couldn't run. Within a month of being on cannabis oil, she could run, she could climb stairs, she could jump, and she was eating. Because when her little sister was born, they were basically the same size, if you take, like, not height, but width. They were basically the same size. So after that, she started putting on weight. And you couldn't see the vertebrae anymore, you couldn't see the ribs. And her hair was growing, like, we did a lot of vitamins too.
My hair was going like
Her hair grew so fast.
My hair gonna go like that. My hair
And
gonna go
she had the tumors had one of her kidneys undersized. It was really undersized. Her kidney is now normal.
Really?
Yeah.
It came back fully.
It came back full recovery. And we have her off every pharmaceutical.
She did.
She was on blood pressure medication because of where the location of tumor. She's been off that for 4 years since starting cannabis.
Well done.
Not one single RX drug anymore.
So what's the daily ritual program now for her cannabis intake?
Wake up, I give her CBD because the chemotherapy has caused low functioning autism. So I wake up, let's just say it's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, you wake up, she gets her CBD. And then if it's not a school day, 12 o'clock, she gets more CBD. 4 and 5, she gets CBD and the THC. Because now I just do it once a day, now that we have everything under control.
So one more time. So CBD, first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
and then again at 10, noon.
Yeah.
And then you said there's a mixture of CBD, THC later on in the day?
Yeah, around supper time.
Around supper time. Okay, and then was that an experimental process of finding the combination of what worked right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was a fine line there between too much and not enough.
Enough?
Yeah,
She
because
got
I
high
needed.
tolerance?
She does now.
Yeah.
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 I needed enough to get her to eat because food is medicine, and if she's not eating, I can't expect her body to be where it's supposed to be.
So when was the last checkup with the doctor?
Like an oncology.
Yeah.
She doesn't even see oncology anymore.
Was- would
They've
that-
released her.
Would it have been 4 years ago then? Was the last time
Yeah.
seeing the oncologist?
Yeah, because they released her once she came back chemo-resistant. They sent her home and told me to make memories. She had less than 10% chance to live for 5 years. And October the 7th, we are at our 5-year mark.
Well
She
done.
has beat every odd the medical system has put against her.
And now you're going out and sharing your story with everyone else.
Everybody, yeah. And it just hurts to see all these kids getting sick. It was never like that, and now we have cancers of all kinds, and brain cancers in children. And there's not many medical doctors that are going to take the time and say, there is a better way. I don't have to poison your child.
A lot of people believe that doctors are handcuffed. A lot of people want to say that doctors just don't care. You know, I like to think that it's the system that keeps them from being able to look into those areas. Hence why Move the Movement, we're doing what we're doing. You know, we're there, same as you, partnering with people like you to help share stories and to educate the rest of the public. So important. You know, we're making the right steps, you know,
Yes.
with legalization, but that's not helping you.
It's actually going to make it worse for me in some ways.
So
Like-
what are you going to do come October 17th?
Exactly what I'm doing now. There is no silly law that's going to stop me from saving my child. That is my job. The moment I conceived her, that was my job. Save my child.
Save my child?
Yeah.
What save my child?
So I'm just going to keep fighting. That's all I can really do because it was a great thing until all these heavy stipulations got put on it. It's not such a good thing anymore. There are some major laws against that.
We got some work to do.
A lot of, yeah, that we do. Because what they're doing, her medicine, they're messing with her medicine. Like I said, it's going to be great if you got arthritis or you got something, but you got something as heavy as cancer. You need high doses. And the prices are extreme. I would never be able to afford a LP's medicine, ever.
What would you say the cost ratio is, the difference of having to go through an LP and go through the way that you're going through now to acquire your medicine?
$60 a day, how I acquire now, as opposed to $220.
Looking at almost 4 times the amount.
Yeah. And then that means that I now have to, instead of Cheyenne taking this little tiny dose, she would have to drink 2 of those bottles for her dose of medicine, which is simply ridiculous for a child.
Mm-hmm.
This way, it's easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
On your tongue, you're done. Go play, honey. So they're messing with a really good thing, and it's kind of scary.
Well, we're gonna get there.
We are.
We're gonna get there.
Yep.
Knowing that you two are sitting here right now gives me a lot more faith. Definitely does. I would encourage you. We are looking for your stories to go on to the movement, and please share your story. It's stories like these that are going to help empower
Exactly.
the rest.
Yes.
Right. I mean, we're collecting your story right now, and we know that this is going to be a huge reach for people. We're going to reach a lot of people, and it's needed.
They're scared.
Yes.
You know what? Even I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
I still am, because I have to be, but I'm still going to talk about it because I am so tired of going to children's funerals. I'm so tired of that. And there's a better way.
There's a better way?
There's a better way. There's your way.
What you do. What we do every day, baby. And the thing about it is, I get a lot of people write me, but the ones I respond to the most and the quickest are the parents. Because I know I've been there, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And when you try to take on a medical system, that's really scary. Because in one heartbeat, all they got to do is call the authorities. Hence, I got her LP prescription on safe.
Nice.
But yeah, that's why I did that. Because no, nobody's taking away my right to save my child.
I'm pretty sure that they're not going to come near you. I'm pretty sure
I'm
you're going
going
to be
kicking
safe.
and screaming.
Yes, I think you're going to be okay. And I gave my kids, I think all 3 of my kids at one point got cannabis when they were children, like young, for really bad upset stomach. I mean, I wasn't like, here, I'm going to get you like ripped, but it was my one of my best friends, his father, well, he was from Jamaica, and it was medicine to them. It was full on medicine. That was really my first reintroduction to it as being, you know, medicine for kids. So thank you. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your part and making the stand. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
People need it.
Yeah.
Especially the parents.
Yes.
They're so scared. We're all scared.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for joining us.